HP has announced a major firing initiative. Also today, we're going to be covering an Amazon drone problem. Amazon drones are colliding with objects, and considering their plans of expanding into drone delivery, that is a problem. We're going to be getting to both stories here today. If you're new to the channel and you're interested in AI and the future of work, now is definitely the time to like and subscribe to the channel. I'm bringing you a fresh video 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. And on Sunday we rest, boys. On Sunday we rest. So anyway, let's get to the first story here, which is HP's plans to fire thousands and thousands of people. I know it's a day that ends with Y, and a big corporation is planning on laying people off. But what's interesting is why they are and what their plans are. So what are they doing? Well, HP plans to fire 6,000 employees over the next couple years. That's by fiscal 2028. Guys, that's 10% of their workforce. But why are they doing it? Well, CEO Enrique Lores said that they've been testing AI for several years, and they are ready to, quote, redesign processes using agentic AI. Guys, what is amazing to me is when I hear tech bros saying that AI will not replace jobs, and then out of the side of their mouth, a big company says, we're actually going to use AI to replace jobs. It's so obvious. In fact, HP anticipates that this move of replacing human labor with AI and agentic AI will save them $1 billion per year. $1 billion per year. And guys, that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. Listen, I've talked about this before, but companies don't owe you a job. They certainly owe you respect and notice. And I think that companies could do a much, much better job of training staff and employees on the next generation of technology. Because please believe we are going through a technological revolution right now. Probably the biggest in all of human history. You look at gunpowder, electricity, the chariot. AI is that powerful, guys. Regardless, you're not really owed a job. However, every company, every business, my business, if you're a business owner, your business, we have an obligation to generate more profit, to run more smoothly, to give a better experience to customers. And AI is going to do that. AI is going to do that. And you as an employee don't want to get left behind. It's really important that you are keeping up with the newest technologies, that you're up-leveling your skills, that you're shaking the right hands and building out your network. It's very, very important. So what does this enhanced AI adoption look like for HP? Well, there are a few specific roles that are anticipated to be replaced more soon. And they are planning, again, on laying off 10% of their workforce, saving $1 billion, and they're specifically looking at development. So, they're going to be upgrading to more AI-powered computers. So there's development, there's operations, manufacturing, and number one, customer support. And we've been looking at a lot of these stories over the past few months, companies that are doing these mass layoffs. And there's two particular career fields that we're seeing massive displacement already. The first is customer service. If you are in customer service, in a call center, if you're working remotely, those jobs are going to be gone very, very, very soon. In fact, we covered this a few weeks ago. Salesforce, you may have heard of them, one of the largest CRMs in the world. Salesforce has already fired 45% of their customer service reps. They're getting better experience by allowing people to communicate with AI chatbots. I've communicated with AI chatbots before. You probably have too. And they are quite good. In fact, so you can go check out the video about Salesforce. I actually covered another story. A friend of mine runs a regional chain of auto mechanic shops. And he's the manager for a big auto chain. You would have heard of them. And what he said is that they're using AI chatbots. So when you call in, they have an AI voice. AI picks up the phone, answers the call, and goes through its FAQs and then schedules meetings with people. He said that already today in 2025, AI chatbots are booking 15 to 20% of all the in-store meetings. That's today. So when you look what HP's doing, when you look at what all these companies are doing, customer service, you're in rough shape. HR is the other big one. Now, this is not specifically listed here in this story from HP, but HR is another big one. We're just seeing HR, when you're looking at hiring someone new, AI is looking over all the resumes. They're doing all the background research, these AI agents. I covered this in a story a little while ago. It wasn't my most popular video. I was surprised about this, but you should check it out, because McDonald's has used an AI program called Paradox AI to screen 64 million job applications. So every time you're submitting a job application, AI is reviewing it, because it's not just McDonald's that's doing this, it's Wendy's, it's Taco Bell, it's 7-Eleven. All the big companies are using AI to screen job applications. So it's really important that if you want to find a job, that you understand how this process works. I'm not going to go deep down the rabbit hole in this video, because we need to get to the next story. And look, by the way, if you enjoy the topic, if you haven't yet, now is definitely time to like, subscribe. And by the way, you definitely want to check out my newsletter, which is completely free, where I'm giving you more tactical tools and tips on how to survive this AI revolution. You go to aiupdate.ai, it's completely free, aiupdate.ai, get subscribed, get over there, and I'm sending out a newsletter once a week with all the top stories from that week, all the top stories, top tactics, aiupdate.ai, go check it out. Now, guys, so we've seen that HP is firing a ton of people. It's a day that ends with Y, that happens. But the other story that is, I think, flying under the radar, you're not gonna see this on the mainstream media, is these Amazon delivery drones. Yes, when you're getting packages from Amazon, they have big plans. Big plans. We're gonna talk about that in just a moment. But this story is pretty fascinating to me. So there's an Amazon drone called Prime Air MK30. And this drone, after making a delivery, this basically, you order a package of, whatever, microphones, glasses, the drone takes it from the warehouse to your home, drops it off on your little drone delivery pad, and then takes off. Well, this drone, after taking off, ran into an internet line. There was a hanging internet line, and the drone ran into it. It severed the cable. So this internet line got severed by this delivery drone. And then after this hazard happened, the delivery drone went into this safe landing mode and then just landed right there underneath that downed line. Now imagine if that had been an electrical line or something more critical. Obviously, internet's pretty critical. As we saw last week, if a cloud service goes down, like Cloudflare or Amazon Web Services, the whole world shuts down. Everything shuts down. But at any rate, this drone clips the internet line, shuts it down, goes ahead and lands. The FAA went into investigating. They decided it's not a crash, and they're going to let Amazon do their thing. But what's interesting to me is just a couple months ago in October, 2 Amazon drones actually collided in air, and they collided with a crane. So we've got this interesting dynamic, and I frankly wasn't aware of how many drones were already in the air. But get this. This is where it gets so crazy, guys. Amazon plans by 2030, over the next 5 years, to deliver 500 million packages annually by drone. So when your wife, your girlfriend, whoever, when they order an Amazon delivery, it's coming via drone. Guys, that is coming. 500 million packages delivered by drone. And by the way, speaking of job displacement, how many of those packages today would be delivered by a human being driving an automobile versus drone? I'm telling you guys, everything is changing right now. And you know what's shocking to me is how many people are sleeping and don't understand that this is happening. It's shocking to me. It's so shocking. I mean, I sit down at Thanksgiving table and we're having all these conversations. All I can think about in the back of my head is everyone's job is going away. People are talking about what they do, what they're working on. All I'm thinking and bringing up is like, well, did you know AI is doing this? Did you know AI is doing that? Did you know this company fired this many people? It's all I can think about, guys. It's maybe my blessing and my curse. But by being here together, we're going to have an advantage because we know stuff is happening beforehand. But let's double click on this idea of 500 million packages. That's just so crazy. 500 million packages being delivered by drones from Amazon over the next 5 years. So get this. What does that look like? Well, that looks like if we assume that there's 10 to 30, okay. Let's assume that if there's 500 million packages delivered annually, And that means that's over 1,369,000 deliveries every day. Okay, that's almost 1.5 million deliveries daily. And let's assume that your average drone can do, let's say 20 deliveries per day. It's probably gonna be somewhere between 10 to 30. Let's say 20 deliveries per day. That means there's gonna be 70,000 drones in the air for Amazon delivering packages. 70,000. You know, I just look up into this beautiful blue Florida sky and I can just hear the buzzing. Bzzz, the drones. Now, there's a passage in the Bible, in Revelation, and I don't want to go end of world on you, but I think this is fascinating, where basically, and if you're not a Christian, you probably aren't as familiar with this, but Revelation is the last book of the Bible, and it talks about the end of the world and the second coming of Christ, and so on and so forth. And in there, the writer, John, is basically abandoned on an island, and he's having these visions, and one of the visions he has is locusts swarming the sky, And all I can think to myself is, if you didn't know what you're looking at and you saw drones just flying all over the sky with that buzz, what would that sound and look like? It could sound and look a lot like locusts. Now, I'm not here to tell you that drones are the end of the world. I actually think drone technology is super, super fascinating, very cool, also terrifying at the same time. However, it's happening. It is 100% happening. And if you are to say that there are going to be 70,000 drones in the sky, that's 70,000 humans that are not driving those cars anymore, not to mention autonomous vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. You get my point. Guys, the world is changing more quickly than any of us can imagine. It is accelerating. We are in an AI war of sorts to get to AGI. That is happening. And if you like today's video, if you've subscribed, you've gotten to the newsletter, props to you. You are advantaged, but you're gonna really like yesterday's video. Yesterday we talked about a new program from the US federal government called Genesis, and it's essentially the vision of the program is to build up all this research and share data so that we can really accelerate AI. It's gonna bring up a lot of opportunity too for guys like you and me. So check out yesterday's video. Have an awesome weekend, and I will see you tomorrow, boys. See ya, peace.